Welcome everyone. This is Chris from the ILC, and sorry, I have some notes here I want to review with before we get started on our presentations. Thank you for joining us today. You are here for the first year experience programs across AMICAL libraries, and we'll begin with the presentations in just a moment, but just a few reminders. During the presentation, we ask that you mute your microphones to avoid the background noise. We'll record the session and make it available online sometime soon in the future. And we're going to have the presentation start. We'll have two presenters. I'll talk about them in just one moment. But we'll have them present first, and then there's time at the end for questions, input, comments, things like that. So before I introduce the speakers, Michael, is there anything you want to add? Anything here?
No, that's fine. I think, no, I'm good.
Okay. So our speakers today, we have two. We have Stella Asderi. She's been working at the Bacilla Library at the American College of Thessaloniki since 2007. She's the Academic Liaison Librarian for Business and Technology in the Science Departments, and she's been teaching IL since 2008. Her main responsibilities include the developing, managing, and delivering of information literacy, the handling of ACT e-textbooks, and the development and maintenance of the library's website and subject guides. She holds a Bachelor in Library Information Science, has a TEFL certificate, gamification course certificate from University of Pennsylvania, and has attended ACR Immersion 2010 and 2018. Her personal interests include arm knitting. I had to look that one up. That sounds really cool. Baking, dance aerobics, and most importantly, playing with her son. Let me introduce the second presenter, Farrukh Shahzad. He's currently working at as Associate Chief Librarian at Foreman Christian College in Lahore, Pakistan, where his main duties are related to reference and research services, IL, marketing of the library services, and managing the library's website. He holds a degree in Information Management, an MLIS from Department of Information Management, and an MBA from Virtual University of Pakistan. His professional certifications include leadership from Harvard Graduate School of Education and Lahore University of Management Sciences. With over 13 years of experience, he has worked at various institutions across Lahore and Saudi Arabia. And his professional interests include IL instruction, reference and research, e-governance, virtual reference services, electronic library subject guides, online library services, and professional development. So we have very busy presenters. They are doing a lot of amazing work. So I just wanted to introduce them and have them get started. We're going to have Stella speak to us first with her presentation, and then we'll switch it over to Farrukh. And then, as I mentioned, we'll have time for questions, comments, input following their presentations. Okay, Stella, it is all over to you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Nice to be here with you. So let me share my screen first. Can you all see my screen now? Can you?
It's starting to share. Yeah,
it's starting. Got it.
There we go.
There we go. Perfect.
Nice. So there you are. Perfect. So our first year information literacy program was piloted in one of the English 1-1 classes in the fall of 2005. This pilot program consisted of 2 sessions and included the general use of the Bacilla Library. In the following semester, the spring of 2006, the sessions were upgraded to 6, and the full collaboration of the Bacilla Library with the English language department was established. From that point, each student attending the English 101 course was obliged to take these classes, and originally 10% of the final course grade was assigned by the library. The content of the sessions was enhanced with a demonstration of library databases using PowerPoint presentations and handouts which were provided to each student. In the fall of 2006, the ethical use of information and citation styles were incorporated in the program. And in the summer of 2010, thanks to AMICAL, I attended a teacher track of the ACRL immersion. And since that fall, we totally redesigned the whole information literacy program. So together with the English instructors, we identified the needs of our students relating to their writing course and the overall curriculum needs, as well as the needs we perceived a forthcoming professional would need in order to meet the 21st century challenges. We managed to map those needs with the use of activities, both for information literacy and for the English writing course. And this actually comprised part of the poster that we presented with one of our English instructors at the AMICAL 2017 conference. So based on the needs analysis, we created a program of 9 1.5-hour sessions. However, this number was reduced last year to 6 again, due to a rearrangement of the semesters at our institution. Therefore, some sessions were necessary to be removed, and based on the Greek kairos concept that we actually learned also this summer at the ACRL immersion, content is considered for transfer to other levels of studies in order to more closely reflect the needs of the students at the time the content will be provided. And in the current first year program, we try to cover a range of topics from the very basics, such as getting familiar with the library spaces and room booking system, to understanding the differences between the various types of sources, applying searching techniques in order to use our resources more effectively, to avoiding plagiarism and citing properly. We provide the students with our full syllabus, which apart from the grading methods, includes the objectives for the teacher and the learning outcomes for the students for each session. Also, we create a lesson plan for each session with all the necessary details, whether this may be technical or material requirements, or even details and comments on how to deliver the content. We also create a session outline, which is much more helpful for us during teaching. For each segment, we have a pre-section activity, which may be a short video or introduction to the topic based on discussion, rather than PowerPoint presentations, as we used to do in the past. This is followed by the while section activity, which is usually worksheets that students have to work on individually or collaboratively with a couple of their peers. One of our successful activities, which we use at the library catalog session, is the treasure hunt game. It is based on the worldwide game geocaching. Students have to search the catalog in order to find the right answers to 8 questions. When selecting an answer, students get a number, and putting all the numbers together, they form a call number, which is the call number of a hidden book on the shelves. And the first who finds the book on the shelf gets the prize. Usually we provide money for printing. When time allows, we add the post-section activity, which may be peer feedback or group feedback addressed to the entire class. Generally, we try to provide a workshop-like structure to the classes so that active learning is applied. We use Moodle And on the online course, we provide the students with all the necessary content, such as handouts, Moodle-based in-class exercises, links to relevant websites, or even online games. We believe that all this helps students for better retention. With regard to assessment, we use both formative and summative methods. Regarding summative assessment, information literacy comprises 30% of the total English 101 grade. This is divided into 3% for the in-class participation, 7% for a group presentation of a library database, 10% for multiple choice quiz, and 10% for the final assignment. In the past, we used to employ posters or board games, but while applying the backward design method, we realized that these, even though they were fun for the students, didn't reflect the learning outcomes, at least not as much as we wanted. So we designed a new final assignment, which we call research demo, in which students are individually assigned a topic for which they have to provide us with keywords, the searching techniques they applied, and a certain number of selected sources, as well as the bibliography of those sources. Apart from the graded segments, we take into consideration the in-class exercises, and the overall student behavior in class. A pre and post-assessment quiz is used so that we get an idea of how the group has progressed by the end of the program. And in addition to the student evaluation, we have a questionnaire for evaluating both the course and the IL teacher. And when time allows, we ask students to do a plus delta at the end of the session. Now, with regard to statistics, in the past academic year, a total number of 35 sessions was taught as part of the first year program, and 595 in total attended all presentations. This semester's freshman program, to which we have applied all the latest changes, has just finished, and we are still in the process of grading students. Therefore, we don't have statistics and data about the students' performance or even the results of the program evaluation. But we hopefully will have that by the end of next week. However, the number of the sessions taught is 28, given to 76 students. I think that I've reached the end of my presentation, at least for now.
So I can start my presentation now. I need to share my screen. Yes, I'll share my
Thanks.
screen.
Thank you, Stella. Yeah, Farrukh, we'll go ahead and have you.
And please, everybody, keep your questions for after the session. Oh, not after the session, but after the second presentation. So I hope you all wrote down like a lot of comments and questions. Here we go, Farrukh.
Yep.
Yes.
Looks good.
So the information literacy program at FCC is known as the library SPICE, especially the library part. It's the first year program. It was started in the year 2011. And, the layout was such that, we devised that, we divided the complete program into two sections. The first section was the lab session, in which we taught hands-on training sessions to the students, and it was about 15-minute session. And then the second part was the library tours. So what we used to do was that, we used to divide the class into half. So suppose a section is of 26 to 30 students, so we would use to divide the students into half, and half of the students would go to the library and half of the students would go to the information commons, which is in a separate building. And then the group gets swept later on. So it's the double, normally, if we conduct 29 lab sessions, the library tours and library information commons tours are more than double. So The learning outcomes of the freshman library safari program. For the library tour, we focused on finding books and print materials from the library, and students should be able to interpret Dewey Decimal Classification to locate books so that they don't have to rely on the librarians to find books from the library portal and locate the books from the shelves. To familiarize students with different locations, collections, and services of the library was another learning outcome. For the lab session, we focused on finding online information, evaluating and using online information, and to be able to differentiate between magazines and journals and peer-reviewed research articles. And then, we taught students how to access the online resources, either ebooks or articles from different databases. We actually have HEC Digital Library. HEC has subscribed to different online resources, and so we teach students about these resources. And the third one is to be able to advance searching techniques, including Boolean operators, and to build a proper search strategy before starting the search process. To be able to judge the authenticity and validity of the online information, for that we use the CRAFT test, currency, reliability, authority, and purpose criteria. So this is the outline of the library safari syllabus for the lab session. We focused on basic searching concepts, teaching Boolean connectors, phrase searching, truncation, and applying search filters. Well, we also discussed 3 kinds of online research tools, like web search engines, specifically Google, article, ebooks databases, either through HEC or FCC subscriptions, and online library catalog of the library. And then we focused on how to build a search strategy and using search strategy builders for creating search statements with the help of Boolean connectors. Identify and evaluate appropriate information resources by using CRAFT test criteria. So these are the statistics. We are fortunate to have the statistics with us because we keep the statistics number of tours. We started, we conducted around 564 library safari freshman tours, and we have conducted 324 hands-on lab sessions covering 6,875 total baccalaureate freshman students. So the other statistics are senior research, course-specific instructions, English 101, English 103. So we have conducted 25 hands-on lab sessions, and then 564 students were covered during those 25 sessions. Then we have the postgraduate information literacy program. Up till now, for the MPhil and PhD students, up till now we have conducted 14 library tours, 7 hands-on lab sessions, and total number of 105 students have been covered in this part. So this is the information literacy staff. Information literacy instruction is a shared task. So we share the workload. The following staff members are involved in conducting information literacy sessions and conducting the library tours. The library safari assessment, as far as the assessment is concerned, we have done 2 efforts. First attempt was made in year 2014 when we opted to go for project sales information literacy assessment beta test. And then in 2015, we decided to design a quiz for pre and post assessment of the library safari program. And I shared the results in AMICAL 2016 held in Rome. Well, there has been changes in the library safari program throughout. In the year 2016, the university administration decided to start a 0 semester. It was a 2-week semester. We had 10 days, and we had to complete around 48 to 50 sessions and complete all the tours during that period. So during the year 2016, both library tours and lab sessions were completed in the span of 2 weeks only. So you can imagine the workload. In the fall 2018, due to increasing workload on library staff for this program, it was decided to train senior student helpers and ask them to conduct library tours. So what we did, we hired the student helpers and we trained them, and it was more informal. They were more easy with the students, and students felt easy with them. So it was good. It was good experience. What we did was that we designed an activity sheet which was given to every student, and every student has to complete that activity sheets and submit it to the University 100 instructor. Lab sessions remain a responsibility of the professional librarians as the previous practice. So this is the activity library tour activity sheet, which we designed this year. There are a few questions like, get library membership, how to log into your library account, locate the books from the shelf, write down the call numbers, find the meaning of a word from a dictionary, or find the JSTOR button on the library website. The purpose was so that to make students to visit certain places, like they need to go to the journals and magazine shelf and write down the titles of the 3 journals, and similarly they should open the library website so that they remember the URL of the library website. So we designed this activity sheet according to different learning outcomes. About the future, with growing number of students and the workload, imagine, when we started was 29 session during one semester, but it has increased to 52 sessions. So in the starting year, we covered around 750 students, but now the number of students has increased to over 1,250 students. So the workload is increasing, and what we think is that we should also involve student helpers to conduct lab sessions also along with the library tours, so that we can focus on postgrad information literacy sessions and other work. So this is it from my side. So I've finished.
Great. That sounds very interesting. I already have like a couple of questions, but maybe somebody else might have some questions of clarification. I think everybody can speak up if you like, so you can actually unmute yourself. So this is also part of the virtual forum. And Chris, do you want to say some first reactions?
Okay, sure. I wanted to ask both of you, in your humble opinions, what's working out of all the work that you've done to get this going? I mean, there's a lot of work, as you can see, as I can see. What's working best, and what would you like to see improve? What are areas that you could identify as something that's, yes, we got that? What's another area that, if we only had a little bit more support in X, what are some of those things that you'd like to see improvement? Stella, do you want to start first? I'm just going to check.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So what works for sure, it's the formative assessment. So it's very, very helpful, the plus delta at the end of the session. So because we get specific comments on that session only. So that helps us with making specific changes to the session. What worked, what didn't work. I can say that at least our students, or at least most of them, tend to comment on the evaluation questionnaire that we provide at the end. They do, click on the strongly agree or agree positive answers of the questionnaire, but they don't tend to give the comments, their comments. So that's why I believe that the plus delta helps more. Now, what didn't work, it was the fact that we had too many. Previously, we had 9 sessions, as I said. So we realized that they were too many, way too many, too much information at the very beginning of their study. Students don't really know what they will need for the following years. So the fact that we had to reduce the number of the sessions was really helpful because of the rearrangement of our semesters. But it made us think of how can we transfer all this information, because we believe that it's useful, it's necessary, but where can we place that? So the new project that we are working on, which is to map, yeah, the curriculum and the cross-level, departmental information literacy. We will try to map the courses that we can embed ourselves, in those courses and provide the information. Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
from my side, initially when we started, we faced a number of problems, like, it was the library staff who had to manage all the scheduling, booking of the labs, and even the availability of computer labs was also another issue, because normally the labs were available from 4 to 5, and normally the students would not be able to stay for that on campus. So it was an issue. But as soon as the University 100 coordinator, she's a very active lady, so when she joined, it all became very easy. And we have a few other resources, we got few other labs as well, and it was sorted out. Secondly, what I feel is that where we can get better is that I feel that the 50 minutes for the library session, the lab session, is not sufficient. The timing should be a little more than that, so that we can focus on each and every student. We can go to each and every student, whether they are performing the task that we are showing them on the projector, and to make sure that they are learning. 15 minutes is, to me, it's only sufficient, I would say. It's not the desired time that I want for the conducting the library sessions.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and it's actually also like the question from Nuruddin. He was asking actually in the chat box about the duration of the sessions. So about the instruction sessions, maybe also for both of you, I've seen, I believe, right, and also like Stella, you got like a whole program, I have the feeling, like many sessions. Farrukh, it's a bit shorter. So that's like one question we have right here from Nuruddin. And the other question would be then also, are students intrinsically motivated to attend these sessions, or how actually is that going to happen, like right here? Do they have to? Is it like an obligation or not? So maybe if you can reflect on those two questions about the length of the sessions and about the motivation to attend.
So should I go first?
Sure.
Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, what I have seen throughout these years is that, when student attend these sessions, it's mandatory for them. It's mandatory for them to attend the lab sessions. But, during the zero semester, what we see is that normally they are afraid, they are scared, they are a little bit scared, because, they have just joined the university. But when we conduct these sessions after 2 or 3 months, gap of 2 or 3 months, what we see is that students, they settle in the university, and what they do feel is that sometimes they need to prepare assignments. For that, they need research-based materials. So they need online information, they need to find books, they need to find thesis, they need to find online information. So they feel that it is their requirement that the, they should get information literacy instruction sessions so that they are better able to cater their own needs. They are better able to find relevant piece of information, what they are looking for. So what I have felt is that, it is much more better as, the zero semester is not a good idea as compared to, what we conduct sessions after a gap of 2 to 3 months. So it's well in the semester.
Thank you. I see a question for Stella from Mary. If a student doesn't attend the library sessions, does he fail the course or just lose 10% of the grade?
Well, I have to say that it's not 10% anymore, it's 30%. So yeah, since 2010 at least is 30%. And yeah, even if we have students that they're not so fond of participating, at the end they realize that, the grade is adding, it's a segment, is adding to the grade. So they try to make it eventually, because it's not 10%, it's 30%. So yeah, it's a number that yeah, just starting with a 70% in the English 101 course, as you understand, it's not that much. And I also saw earlier that there was a question about the lesson plan. So would you like me, I just opened one. Would you like me to share my screen and show how we create our lesson plans?
Yep.
So, did you? All right. Can everybody see that?
I can see it.
Okay, so
Perfect.
yeah, you can see that we start with various information for the teachers, the date and time, the equipment that we will need, each 1.5 hour teaching. Okay, because in total the lesson is 2 hours, but with a break, the 10-minute delay of our students. So ultimately, it's 1.5 hour teaching. So if we have here the assumed knowledge, if we have any anticipated problems to keep in mind for the session, our main aim and our objectives. So here you can see it's the lesson plan for the library catalog. But you can see that we also include in this one basic parts of the book, how to use the books for the academic assignments. And then we start with the stage, which is the warm-up, the activities, and specifically the activities that we go with, the material and the aids that we need. Here it's the interaction. Actually, this has helped us because of the TEFL course that I attended. This is how in the English language teaching lesson plans are created, and I found it really, really useful, and that's why I applied it to the IL sessions as well. And so here you can see analytically here the procedure. So how do we do specific questions that we might set, and on the very last section, the last column is how much time we believe it will take, or it should take. Yeah.
That looks really developed, huh? It's very impressive. It's very impressive actually to see that, and it's very nice actually. But I see as well that you have so much time, and how do students actually engage right here? Stella, is that sometimes students always say that libraries are boring stuff. So how are the students reacting to the whole classes?
Well, you know, because as I said, we try to prepare our sessions to be workshop-like. They have to participate. Of course, obviously, you might have one or two students that they might not be interested at all. Anyway, so then they, at the group, their activities, they might not participate. That's it.
So it's the collaboration with
Yeah.
teacher. I think
Yeah.
the faculty is very important. Is it present?
Would you like to?
Yeah, I'm just adding here. Hello, everyone. I'm just adding here that what strengthens the program is the participation of the faculty. The English faculty is present in the sessions, and students are really further encouraged to participate.
I think this is very interesting, actually, Ivy, to see like the effect if you have like a faculty member in the classroom and the co-teaching. If this works well together, then I think I see it myself, like in the co-teaching with my faculty, that this is always very nice.
It's not only embedded; it is integrated, situated. It is, let's say, signed by the English faculty as well. So it's purely collaborative, and then students, I think we see that they engage better this way.
This might maybe actually lead like to the question to Farrukh. Do you have like some contact to faculty as well, or is that in somehow something that you envision to do, or?
Actually, I'm seeing, you're talking about the question from Omar?
Maybe it's an overlap. Maybe I haven't. Yes.
So,
maybe not.
as far as the question of Omar is concerned, we have a University 100 coordinator. She's a lady, and she has the responsibility to schedule all the sessions and book the labs and let us know and remind the teachers. So what we do is that we only go to that lab and we conduct the session, and we can come back to the library. But for the demand-based, we have another sessions. The teachers can demand for particular sessions, like according to their needs. Like if they have a particular need, they would let us know. So what we do is that we ask them to book the labs, book the classroom, and then we go and conduct this session according to their requirements. The requirement is different. So we get input from the teachers as well.
Thank you, Farrukh. Yeah. Thank you.
So it's like a feedback that you're getting, right, Farrukh? But it's not that you're like actually then in the classroom, right? That it's like co-teaching, or that you're like in the, like, let's say, in a classroom with them. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's gotta be. But you would like to do that. Or maybe not. There's actually a question also from Norodin again. She's asking about, to Farrukh, how information literacy workshop sessions are offered across the disciplines and type of studies, etc.
So, across disciplines, we cover almost every student. So, but across disciplines, it's for MPhil and PhD programs. It's according to their discipline. What we do is that we prepare separate presentations for information literacy instruction. According to, like, for example, we are giving a session to chemistry people, or we are giving a session to biological sciences people. So what we would do is that we will create content according to their need. We will stick to that discipline. So if we need to make specific searches, what we would do is that we would use the same terminology that is being used in their subject areas, so that they have better understanding. So that's it. That's how we are doing it. But as far as the baccalaureate program, the first year program is concerned, it is of general in nature. So because, you know, at the first year, the students have not opted the major subject areas.
Okay. Well, there's then like, okay, thank you, Farrukh. There's one more specific question also for Stella. So she wants,
I see the library treasure hunt game.
exactly, so if you have like a minute to speak about this.
Again, let me share my screen. So this is the geocaching page. This is not the actual game that our students play, but it's like this. Okay, this is much easier and simpler for the actual geocachers. So we have the same instructions actually here. So you have to go to our library catalog, search for the answer to the question. Here are the questions. And here there are just 3, but the students have to do 8 questions. So students have to actually answer to the questions that give the numbers after the point. All right, so this is kind of, you know, the questions that they have to look for. So you need to search for a book with the subject keyword. So actually students have to use the subject search with the keywords that they're given so that they find the call number. So the other question, for example, is relevant to how we can do a title search or how the title starts. And the question is to find the year of publication. So after they get the answer, they get the number that is relevant to the based on the number, the ABC that they reply. So they get the corresponding number, which they put in the blank spaces here. So I don't know if it's helpful how the you know, the game goes. So typically, ultimately, the students have to create the full call number, and they go on themselves to find the book.
I really like the idea. Thank you for sharing, because one of the major problems we have is how do you get people to go to the library for the very first time? And if you involve, I mean, if you involve some cash prizes, probably, I think that would help just to get them to go initially. Yeah, but thank you. And make them learn how to search actually the catalog and all that.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I'm just following up on that with as far as incentives. What do other folks use? We don't have a first year experience program. We're hopefully moving in that direction. But just even for our new students to attend a library session, a library tour, an orientation tour the first week of classes, we have take a tour. They have to take a tour, and then they can fill out a little entry form, and someone might be selected to win an iPad mini. So that incentive really changed our numbers big time. So, but it doesn't feed into any classwork. It's just a tour. And so even the spring semester, when our enrollment is much smaller, they have much better odds. So I just wondered what others are using for incentives.
I'm going to come to your library tour to win the...
Yeah. Exactly. I know.
I'm not sure I'm very happy with that kind of, how to say, deal.
Bribe?
Yeah, because in the end, they come for the prize and that's it. One thing, Chris, related to what you mentioned, there is almost no chance we'll have the full first year program in my institution. However, I think an interesting move in that direction could even be making it mandatory that in one of the first year courses, there is a certain information literacy session or sessions, if you're lucky, embedded within the syllabus and basically teaching for that specific course.
We have
That's
two.
what I'm
We
trying
do.
at the
Yeah, we do have that. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. But that's a good one as well. And I mean, it's even connected to a specific course. So
yeah,
that's
our
still
tours are
something.
strictly orientation. That's all it is. It's not tied to anything. It's just to get them, if anything, it's minimizing that intimidation factor of the space. So, because, you know, their first week of classes, they're totally overwhelmed with so much information.
This actually brings me to like a thought that I had like at one point, because we are changing our library tools right here at AUP, and somehow actually they were almost like thinking about canceling them and just integrating like the whole library tools into the teaching on the first year experience seminar. So which could be actually very interesting, because you're going to have more students actually participating, and it's going to be more integrated like into our teaching. So it would be part of actually like the one of the library sessions. And maybe that's like the thing to do, because like you're saying, Chris, students are overwhelmed like the first week. They have so many other things to do, and maybe they're not really thinking about the library at that point, and
They're not thinking about anything in the first week. Like that's why they need to be connected like week 4 or 5 when they finally start working on some research, basically.
I agree with that. I think the one thing I was going to say, though, just the orientation part, like I said, it minimizes that intimidation factor.
Of course,
so when week 4 comes and they actually have to find something that's relevant to their research, they've already kind of passed that, you know, they already know the space. They already know where to get help.
Yeah. No. And then in addition, is it possible, for example, at least in my institution, and you know how we are not the best example, I could push for information literacy to be mandatory, and even to include certain points or certain, to be part of the assessment or mandatory tasks for passing that course. And I mean, it's so insignificant in a way, but at least if it's mandatory, they attend it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Our experience so far, if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, because we launched a first year experience program back in fall 2017 at AUI in Morocco. We are in Morocco, by the way. You may know some of my other colleagues from the library, but I do manage the first year experience program. So what I noticed is the seminar. So we have seminars, and the seminars are weekly sessions that are 1 hour long for all newcomers. Now our university gets around 300 students in fall, new students. We're fairly small, but given the structure and human resources and all of that, we can only offer large section seminars. So our sections have 70 to 80 people in them for 1 hour. So when we try to invite library colleagues to come over and present, you can imagine that it's not always the best experience for students, because from one hand, we're telling them these are the services that the library offers. On the other hand, it's really hard to do hands-on. It's in an auditorium setup and setting, so nobody actually does any searching, or they just.
Oh yeah, so one big session, right?
Yes, it's one big session. When we tried, because we thought, okay, the following semester we thought of doing follow-up library tours to the session. Actually, not that same semester, when we had colleagues come over to the seminars, we organized optional library tours because we didn't want to overburden the students. So it was optional, and you can guess that not many people showed up. And there were smaller sessions. They were very informative. I attended many of them, and the people who attended liked it because it was optional. And again, keep in mind, figuring out what is a good time for all students to go to a library tour, even though we are only 300, it could be worse for some other people, is a nightmare. And so how do you schedule them? How do you convince them to go? This semester, we were going to use student helpers. We call them mentors that they have anyways during the semester. And we were going to task them, you have to go with your mentor. It's mandatory. It's part of your seminar grade. We just haven't had time to do it yet. I don't know how that would go.
One question, Omar. So your first year program, is it linked to any of the first year courses?
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yes, it's not. So the seminar is designed to serve everybody, including students who have to do some serious English learning. So everybody takes the same class, even though they may be still in language center. Some students may be regular and taking, you know, entry level, so English comp or computer science classes or whatever. So given this restriction, it's a generic solution, as you can imagine. So you have people complaining that I'm learning, let's pick the example of library or academic integrity. I'm learning this in my student skills class. Why am I, you know, obliged to sit through this again? Probably my other professor in a smaller classroom does it better anyways.
No, that's a very good point. And that's my point in thinking that it's always good to link it with existing course.
With existing courses.
Yeah.
That's an idea that came in mind while listening, I think, to Stella's presentation about the English composition class and their experience with the library. How do we get our faculty to buy in, or how do we make suggestions to faculty teaching first semester courses to somehow incorporate some modules to, I don't know, refer students to library or things like that. But as far as I know, we're not doing that yet.
No, but it's still a lot of important, it's very important that you have the program.
It is, yeah.
In my institution, it depends on how lucky I am with the faculty and how energized I am to push for it.
I know, true.
But that's maybe like an interesting comment, or like what I maybe want to follow up like with the question of luck or not, and also with regard like of the context of the development of those programs. And maybe Farrukh and maybe Stella, or like everybody can react on that. It's the question of how much freedom do we have to design those kind of programs? What kind of collaboration is included right here? And what is the role of the provost or the dean in the whole process? And I'm reflecting on my own situation right here at AUP, where the provost, for example, changed like in the last 2 years, 2 times the library orientation, library tours, and then like the first year seminar was somehow unchanged, but it was also linked and then to the threshold. So maybe Stella and Farrukh, could you maybe reflect on that, or like?
Yes, I think the role of deans and provosts are very important. You know, we are conducting information literacy sessions at different levels, especially if I talk about the postgraduate level. It is very important. What we do is that once we prepare a tentative schedule, what we do is that we used to send it to the HODs, to the deans, and then they forward it to the faculty members, because you know, if we touch faculty members first, they don't often listen. So there are some faculty members who opt for the library sessions, but you know, there are some other faculty members who won't opt. So what we do is that we go to the provosts, we go to the deans, we go to the HODs, and then once it comes from the top, you know, the faculty member has to book a library session for their students, which is very important in my opinion.
Can I ask quickly about the is it the UNIB coordinator position, Farrukh? Did I have that correct?
No, University 100 coordinator is for baccalaureate first year program.
Right.
But we don't have any such facility for the postgraduate programs. So for the postgraduate programs, we have to schedule it on our own selves.
Yeah, but I am curious about that coordinator position, because it didn't sound, if I recall correctly from your presentation, that came later. This position, this coordinator position. I'm curious what the the backstory of that was. Was there a need? Was there a gen ed requirement? Was there an accreditation push? What got that person in that position?
You know, it was basically the need of the university to hire a University 100 coordinator. So what
Yeah.
they did, they hired a lady. So she had to do all the scheduling of University 100 courses, when to begin, all the planning and the stuff. And, you know, she took it all on herself. You know, before that, you know, we were doing all the scheduling, reminding teachers about the library sessions, and all of this stuff. We were doing it, even booking of the labs, computer labs. So we were all doing it on our own selves. But you know, when she came in, she took the responsibility. Now she's responsible for booking the computer labs. She's responsible for scheduling. She is responsible for reminding teachers of their specific sessions on certain dates. So that's how it goes.
So what department does that coordinator sit in? Are they in Office of Enrollment, or are, you know, where are they seated that they're conducting the symphony, so to speak?
She's actually in mass communication department, if I'm not wrong. So
I see.
So from that department, she has this extra responsibility other than teaching.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
I might have more questions for you soon. I'm very interested in that position.
Can I just make a comment before Stella's? I must say, because something that Farrukh mentioned, of course, that we always need to remember what our, let's say, local conditions are. For example, I cannot really complain on my faculty. They are really, I mean, some of them very interested in most of this. However, for example, our faculty has a 9 sections teaching load per year, which means I'm lucky when I find someone who wants even to take on this extra task for those reasons. So something that also creates that we don't have a very sustainable situation in my institution would definitely be that, of course, as Farrukh mentioned, this needs to be an institutional recognized important, let's say, goal of establishing. So, for example, having mandatory information literacy sessions embedded within the course, because I'm not so much into the separate first year program. I mean, we had these discussions before, you know my points and why. In that sense, it can be challenging as well, because I also don't want something that's pushed to be mandatory, but then we cannot really do anything more meaningful to students, right, in enabling their curiosity and the whole research portion of information literacy.
Yeah, I think this is a very good point, Ivana, about the sustainability, about like also like lots of change like within institutions.
Yeah.
We have seen that at AP right here as well. But maybe Stella, what are your thoughts on like the context? Like we've seen that there's like a long-standing relationship apparently going on with the integrating information literacy.
Well, when I came here at ACT, this collaboration was already established the year before. We have a really great relationship with the instructors, and because I also saw a question about how easy it was to get the 30% from the 10. This happened in 2010, so I was already 3 years here. So you see that you establish a good relationship first with the instructors, and then I think when you also give reason why this is needed to the change, you know, I think it was pretty easy for us. They accepted it very easy. Now, Abby has a comment on that too.
I would like to add something here. I think it's important to remember that, as Ivana said, each institution is different. So our landscape is different to everybody else's. So what I think is very powerful is to work for information literacy on every level. There are many stakeholders that are involved. So it's not only the academic liaison librarians, that is the teaching information literacy teachers, let's say, but it's also faculty. There's also the library. It is also the deans, the chairs, etc. So I think for this to work properly for the first year experience, but for all of information literacy curriculum across the years, there needs to be some, let's say, understanding of the importance of this at all levels. So it is, for me, the best way that this can work is when it is situated within modules, when students are allowed to have hands-on activities, when teachers are involved, faculty is involved. It is very important that there is a plan for a curriculum accepted at the academic council level. And this is something I have done before, but this was already here when I joined. I think what another important factor is the professional development and training of the librarians, of the information literacy librarians. The teachers training is very, very important as well. Assessment needs to be there, learning outcomes needs to be there. And we shouldn't forget that this is like an action research process. It's a cycle. So it's something that you start and then you build on every year. You correct, you get feedback, and you improve, okay? And all this can be negotiated. I think there's also place for a tour, for an induction tour always. And also I think there's something that we're looking to do is, and we offer tours, induction tours, you know, before the first year experience program. But also there is value in sending materials to students even before entering. Thank you.
There was a very complete cycle of everything, but I think it's very interesting. It's a very, very good comment. I also like to see from Evie, because you're like the library director, if I understand correctly. So it's a very good input.
Yes.
It's a very good input right here to see that not only from like a librarian's perspective who's like teaching, but also more from a structural perspective. And the relations, like then also what you mentioned to the academic council, for example, also like this importance of understanding of the faculty, that they understand that there's an importance. Also assessment or professional development that AMICAL many times or often is supporting. So these are actually things that are all like on the to-do list or like to think about. I'm not sure, Chris.
I'm just looking at the time.
Yeah, that was actually
I'm the timekeeper.
But
if anybody else has some last-minute comments,
final comments,
probably take another minute or so
before wrapping up. Yeah. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap up now.
Yes.
That's fine for everybody. So thank you very much, Stella and Farrukh. Put my hands together. Fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Bravo.
We enjoyed that.
Thanks, guys.
We're going to put also the questions that we had and maybe some other thoughts we're going to put in the collective Google document that Livia, she provided. Thank you very much, Livia, for providing that. I'm not, probably she took also like many notes, I'm sure. And then, yeah, Chris, Krassi, Olivia, if you maybe can join or stay on the Zoom link, that would be nice. Just to talk quickly about the Information Literacy Committee, that would be nice. And also, Ivana, if you have time, Stella, that would be nice. And Livia, did I forget anybody? Tatvik, that would be nice. Okay, but thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Stella and Farrukh.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good luck with the end of the semester. Happy holidays. See you in the new year.
See you, inshallah. See you.
Merry Christmas.